Loading program, Trekommendations.
Hello and welcome to Trekommendations, a Star Trek podcast that brings on guests to help us find something special in the greater world of Star Trek. And today's guest is someone that was brave enough to send in an email with their Trekommendation, and that has resulted on them now coming on the show all the way from Canada. It's June. Hello,
Hi.
June. Yeah, this is the first time someone has just written in, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't just give away recommendations like that. You've got to come and do it. I was going to say in person, but you know exactly what I mean. Not in person.
For sure.
How are you this fine day?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm really good. I'm glad we were able to make this work.
Likewise.
There was a couple of times that maybe emails got lost in subspace, but we found them. We got it all sorted. Here we are. What is also interesting is normally, I can sort of check people's social media a little bit. I have a little bit of an idea. So the calibration questions, while they're a key feature of this show, sometimes I've got an inkling before we begin, but not this time. I've got no idea. So
okay.
The calibration questions I think are more pertinent than ever. So let's jump straight in with them now.
Sounds good.
Calibrating.
So my first question would be, what is your favorite Star Trek show?
Very easy question. Voyager. I'm totally a Voyager fan. Yes.
Okay. There's something about this show, I feel, that is attracting Voyager fans. I don't know what it is.
Seems like it.
But they'll be happy to hear that there's another fellow Voyager head that's joined the show. Okay, excellent. This would explain, why you wanted a Voyager avatar as well.
Yes. And ended up with a TNG one.
Ended up with TNG.
That's okay. I like TNG too,
Well, on that note then, let's go with your I'm quite enjoying doing these like top 3 questions. So who are your top 3 Star Trek characters?
Top 3 characters.
Yeah.
Well, very top would be Janeway. That's no brainer there. As for the other two, when I've listened to your show in the past, I've always sort of it's been really interesting to hear what guests have to say, and now I'm thinking about it myself. Let's see. I think probably the second would be probably Chakotay.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yep. And then the third one, of all of Star Trek, right?
Of all of Star Trek, yeah. I know. I've noticed you've picked not just 2 from Voyager, but on the same ship. So
yeah,
but
yep. Third one. Just trying to think. There's been so much. I really like number 1 from Strange New Worlds.
Excellent. That's a good choice. Yeah, that's a curveball after the last 2 answers. So I'm liking that. Yeah. I think I would love a sit down meal with Janeway and Una. I think that would be interesting.
It really would.
Yeah, maybe that can happen one day. Who knows? We'll see. But that's I think they're both very strong, sort of self-willed, know what they want characters, but they're also so different in their approach to it. So I think interesting. And then Chakotay's just somehow snuck there in the middle. That's
yeah. He's the mediator between the two of them at dinner.
Excellent. So here's one that's a little bit more. These are tough because you're having to pull from established stuff. What would be your dream Star Trek show? We're always thinking about what's next. So what's your pitch? What would you love to see them do?
To be honest, I think it would be really interesting. I was listening to a different podcast not too long ago. Sci-Phonetics, I think is the name of it. And he was talking with, same with Mike Sussman, who used to work on the 90s Trek. I can't remember which shows now at the moment. But he had pitched an idea called Star Trek United. And that was where Captain Archer was now the president of the United Federation of Planets. And so it was sort of an Enterprise follow-up or continuation, but just and I hadn't watched a whole bunch of Enterprise, you know, originally or anything, and have not yet gone back to it. But just listening to him talk about it and all the details of the characters and like the plot, and you know, it just made so much sense. And I was like, wow, that could be really good. I think I
Yeah.
would want to see that. So I think that's my answer.
So I've heard him talk about that as well.
Mhm,
I'm trying to think. I might have heard him on, maybe he was on What Culture. I can't remember, but on well, Trek Culture, yeah.
mhm,
But I've heard talk of it, and I'd heard talk of this idea, but I
mhm,
hadn't heard anyone involved in it like speak about it.
mhm.
And kind of when I was just hearing like, oh, it's sort of like West Wing in space, you know, it's kind of this political Star Trek drama. I was like, well, I don't really know if I care about that. But
Right.
when I heard them talk about it, I was like, oh,
Mhm,
actually, this does sound really good.
mhm,
So yeah, that could be. I do like that. I do like. I think if you're going to use existing characters and
mhm,
actors, that's
mhm,
probably one of the best ways to go.
mhm.
Um, I still, though, in my heart of hearts, just want a new ship, a new crew, and like
Yeah.
a clean slate.
Yeah, for sure.
Is
And like maybe set like, I don't know, in the 25th century, you know, like maybe like 80 to 100 years after like Voyager, you know, and maybe have like some people from like some of like maybe Tom Milana's kid grew up and joined Starfleet or whatever, you know, and kind of maybe incorporate um 24th century Star Trek characters, the children of, you know, sort of, and like have that be a crew or something. Anyway, I kind of answered your question twice, but
But that's good. Well, you can answer if you've got a third answer. I'm happy to hear that as well. Or we can move on to your recommendation, and we'll see what comes from that as well. But
Mm,
no, these are good answers. So I mean, as I said before, I don't know you. I don't know your tastes. I've understood Voyager is heavily involved in your. Well, I
it
will
is.
follow up on that. Is that what got you into Star Trek, or was it a different show that got you in?
Originally, I watched TNG growing up when I was quite young. My dad, when it would come on TV, I'd watch some of the episodes, but I was young enough to where I didn't really comprehend it, you know, a whole bunch, but I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's interesting," you know, but still kind of fascinated by it. Um, but then when Voyager came out, I was in high school, and I was like, wow, like Captain Janeway just really resonated with me, as with a lot of other people. Um, and yeah, my brother would record it when he was in university, and then like bring home the VHS tapes, and like we would watch it like at that point. That's how I got to watch it because we didn't actually have TV per se, and yeah, so I was like, wow, you know, this is great. So watching it every when it was originally airing is how I so yeah, I mean, I guess it would be the Voyager kind of was my original sort of introduction to it,
Nice.
with a little bit of TNG sprinkled in before,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I guess TNG sort of set you with I think I like this Star Trek thing,
mhm,
and then Voyager let you sort of go, oh, there's a Star Trek thing, I can let me check it out, and that's the one to go, oh yeah. What about
mhm.
Deep Space Nine? I'm not hearing any mention of Deep Space Nine in this discussion, so
Good point. No, we also did watch, or he also did record DS9, and I did watch it as well, but I didn't like it nearly as much. It was not my cup of tea, or should I say, cup of coffee black, that Voyager was. I did like Kira, you know, and Dax, but yeah, just there was something about Voyager that was.
yeah. I mean, I definitely as well pick up that you are drawn to these like strong female characters. So
For sure.
as you said, like yeah, you like Kira, you like Dax, but if you've got Janeway there, and
Mhm,
she's the big boss,
mhm.
and even though she's a captain, she's the biggest boss out there because there's no one else around. There is no more Starfleet, so
Right.
there aren't any admirals checking up on her.
No,
She's
she got free reign.
yeah, and she uses it. Let's be
Yes.
honest. Excellent. Well, it's at this time that we go into red alert. June, in 60 seconds or less, what is your recommendation and why have you brought it to the show?
So my recommendation is the town of Vulcan, Alberta, in Canada, and it's a town that kind of would be what you would expect from a little community in the prairies, but it has gone all out and now is like actually officially licensed by Paramount to use all the Star Trek logos and all of that, and is a tourist town where Trekkies can go. And there's a convention once a year called Vulcan, and they have a little Trek station and tourism area and building and museum, and it's just a place where people can go and be Trekkies and have that recognized. So
Amazing. So I've never heard of this
okay.
well, before you mentioned it in your email.
Mhm.
I'm like, what is this? So I suppose for me mentally now, my point of reference is going to be something like in New Zealand, where you've got the kind of Hobbit town
Mhm.
or whatever
Mhm.
whatever it is, if
Mhm.
that's even still a thing. I don't even know if that's still there. Um, Although I suppose that was specifically built for
Uh-huh.
filming,
Uh-huh.
whereas this is just so was it a town already called Vulcan,
Yes,
and
it
they just
it
ran with it?
was.
Okay.
Yes. Yep, exactly. And I can tell you the reason why it was called Vulcan originally and all of that if you.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, now's the time to dig down deep. So
Okay.
let's find out.
Yeah, yeah. So it was originally called Vulcan for the I believe it was a Roman
Right.
god Vulcan, um, and the it was settled in the early 1900s. The railroad went through it on its way to Calgary. It's about an hour from Calgary, I think, which is one of the bigger cities in the province of Alberta. And but then I believe it was in I'm not sure when that they decided to run with the whole Vulcan Star Trek theme, but they did at whatever point, and now loads of people come and to see it, to see the town. So it's really.
So is it so obviously, there's the name Vulcan. Okay,
Mhm,
I've got that. You mentioned that they've got deals in place with Paramount, CBS, or Skydance, whoever currently owns stuff, to be allowed to use, you know, the I guess signage and things like that
mhm.
from Star Trek. Is that? I guess my question is, I could Google this, but I prefer to ask you: is it like just Star Trek, or is it Vulcans in Star Trek specific?
It's a good question, good differentiation. It's Star Trek in general, but they did have Leonard Nimoy come to Vulcan. And in the middle of downtown, there's a bronze statue of a bronze bust of Spock. So it's Leonard Nimoy, but with the ears and everything. And then they have right beside that, they have a plaque that has his handprint. And he's doing the Vulcan salute, and they have a little commemorative plaque that explains, he was here on such and such a date, and all of that. And it's a little there's like a bench and some trees around there too, in that area. And then they have like an actual, like I said before, they have a museum down the street. It's about, I don't know what the population is. I should have checked before I came on here again, but it's a small town, so
Yeah.
5,000 people maybe. Um,
Okay. And I mean, it's like, if we strip away the Star Trek for a second, like, what's it's a functioning town, right? So kind of
yes.
what's there? Obviously, you've got tourism
Mhm.
as one side of thing, but like,
Yeah.
are they? What is the town in and of itself? If I just imagine somebody there who doesn't like Star Trek, it's just what I'm thinking of. Like, what do they do?
Right. So, yes, it's a functioning town. It has a library, post office, city hall, all of the things, skate park, swimming pool, all that stuff, and residential area. Um, and really, the Star Trek part of it is Main Street, and then the two sort of side streets beside Main Street,
Right.
and then at the end of Main Street, they have the little museum and things. And
Yeah.
Yes. So it's kind of in a more concentrated area in the downtown, shall we say.
Excellent. So, because you mentioned that they have like a convention there every year, is that
Yeah. Hmm.
okay? But it sounds like there is stuff to do. So, I mean, ideal world, you're going there when the convention's on.
Yeah.
But even if you're just like, "Oh, actually, like someone like me, if I happen to be in Canada,
Hmm.
that's like that's already incredible. Like, oh, wow,
Hmm.
I found myself in Canada and Alberta as well, which Canada's a big place, so a, a double win. I might see if I can detour and pop along to Vulcan.
Hmm.
Um, it's worth going any time of the year. Then,
In my opinion, yes, because I went there. The convention is, I believe, the last week of July every year, and I went there in September when I went, and I had a fine time. They still had they have the museum open every year round, I believe, or at least until the end of October. But it's open a fair chunk of time beyond sort of the convention time frame, and they have the shops and things in the downtown. Quite a few of them are either named after Star Trek related aliens or civilizations, or they have some sort of Trek related like mosaics painted on them,
oh
or
really?
and things like that. The street signs are they have the little Trek Delta on the street signs. The post office, which you can, is open all the time as post office are, and you can go and get. They have a special postage postal what do you call it? Not a stamp, but because it's not like a literal postal stamp, but it's a rubber stamp that
Right.
I can't
The
think
ones
of
that
what
they
it is.
kind of like have to stamp on top of the
Yes. Yep.
yeah, on top of the other ones. Okay,
Yep.
and that's got a delta in it.
It has actually spot Leonard
Oh
Nimoy doing the Vulcan salute. Little, yeah, it's great.
yeah,
And then it says Vulcan, in the Trek font on the rubber stamp, and so you can go to the post office anytime and mail a postcard or whatever. And people do that all the time. I talked with the postal person worker, and they're like, "Yeah,
yeah.
people come in here all the time and do that." And so,
Just mailing to
yeah,
himself. It's just for me. I'm sending it
yeah,
home.
exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm kind of curious because this is obviously like a decision to get involved and do this and to I so of course it's a decision. But what I mean is so I've lived like I lived in Venice for a few years
Uh-huh.
and in the UK I've lived in place and live somewhere now where we get a lot of tourists to come and look at certain things because of filming that has been done or
Mhm,
because of books or things like that. But
mhm,
it's different because it's more the historic nature of these places. So
mhm,
people are like, "Oh, I want to come because there's a book that talks the characters in this book were visiting this city and, there's these elements of the city that I want to go and look at." And
mhm,
it's kind of different because you're just like, "Yeah, okay." But but it's just a normal city, like, it's just normal and you're here and not like, not everyone is on board with the tourism because it's sort
mhm,
of like, this is a big city that needs to just function and you're in my
mhm,
way.
mhm.
Whereas this, it's more they're, like, really embracing it, right? And thinking, "Well, how
Yeah,
can we play up to the fact that we've got"
right.
there's also I think there's a place is there, like, somewhere I wanna say it was, like, in Finland or somewhere where they did a similar thing with the Smurfs. Like,
Oh, really?
I think the town name was Smurf or something, or, like,
Uh-huh.
whatever the town in Smurfs is called, I can't remember. But
Mhm.
and they went all in on, painting everything blue and having people just on that, and I get a similar vibe here, and I suppose I mean, you just have to like Star Trek if you live there, really, don't you? You've got no choice.
Pretty much, it's a prerequisite, I think. And in the one of the city parks, they talked about the sort of how Vulcan had decided to be on the forefront of sort of clean energy and things. Like they have a solar system set up in the park, and something else that I can't now remember. It's in the pictures I took when I was there. And yeah, so I think they're kind of really, it seems like you say, kind of leaning into it and seeing it as a good thing to boost, to boost the town, you know,
Yeah.
reputation and whatnot. So. Mhm.
So you went.
I
Did
did.
you traveled specifically because you'd heard about
Yes.
this town and you needed to
Yes.
go and check it out, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Mhm.
it's working.
It
Were there
is.
many people there when you were there, or like lots of
No,
tourists? No.
beyond no, not so many. I think I wanna say it was I can't even remember. It was a couple years ago that I went, so I wanna say it was the end toward the end of September.
Right.
So there weren't I didn't see a whole lot of tourists, but, there were definitely locals around, so
Yeah.
and like I said, it's only about, I think, 45 minutes from Calgary, which has an international airport, so, it's pretty easy access.
Yeah.
If people, tourists did wanna come, at some other points, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll add it to the list. It's like I'm seeing everyone at the moment, like as of this will date when we're recording, but I'm seeing lots of people on like the Star Trek cruise at the moment. And I'm just
Mm,
thinking, how do you manage to pull off these kind of holidays where you're just
right.
I'm like trying to I don't know how I'd convince my whole family to be like, we should get involved and do this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I have had a question bouncing around my head
Mhm,
about this because obviously
mhm,
the town is very in on it. They
mhm,
love the fact that it's Vulcan. Vulcan is obviously the name not just of the Vulcans, but we've got Vulcan,
mhm,
the planet. Um,
mhm.
or we had Vulcan, the planet, in some
That's
universes.
right.
I would be curious to know what the people of Vulcan. So they love Leonard Nimoy, clearly. Statue of him, had him there, put him on the stuff. How do they feel about J.J. Abrams and his decision to blow up Vulcan?
I don't know. I should have asked some citizens that, or gone to City Hall and said, "How do you feel about this?" But I didn't. I was just a tourist myself. So, yeah, that's a good question because yeah, that definitely is did change that. But I guess fortunately it was in the Kelvin timeline instead of
Yeah,
the Prime Universe, so there's that. And I don't know if Chris Pine has, or sorry, Zachary Quintos has been
yeah.
has been or not. But
That would be so good if when he was trying to relocate people, when Leonard Nimoy was sort of, oh, I can look after our people. You can go off and
mhm,
have Star Trek adventures. I'm gonna like care for the Vulcans because I'm also stuck here.
mhm.
Imagine if they'd all just turned up in Canada. Like, that would have been amazing. Like, we found some. We found a new Vulcan. We're
Yep,
going
it's
there.
yeah, exactly. It's even named after us.
Yeah, yeah.
hmm
We don't know how they knew, but somehow they've known about all our adventures. Um, I mean that the blowing up Vulcan thing. I've been thinking about that a lot recently, just because I'm kind of. Can we stop blowing up planets? Is just all I'm thinking about at the moment. Is like, I wasn't super happy about. So it's coming up a bit because with Academy out, there's obviously been the burn,
hmm
which I have opinions on,
hmm
as I think everyone does.
hmm
And one of the things I get a lot in comments on stuff I make is people mentioning the Romulans and how the Romulans would be now like a superpower because they weren't using dilithium because of
hmm
how they had powered a lot of their ships.
hmm
And I'm just thinking, well, yeah, but they also had their planet blown up. So,
Right.
that's going to balance things out, right? Like,
hmm
and that was pre-burn. So
hmm
that's one side of things. And then there's reunification and all of that. So I'm thinking a lot about, I really don't like that they blew up Romulus. Like, that's
No.
annoying because
No. Yes.
I'm like,
I
that's,
agree.
that's disappointing, especially
Yeah.
because also I feel it also cheapens the whole reunification
Yeah.
because you had no choice. Like,
Right.
you got nowhere to go. Um,
hmm
and then we get it in, JJ's Trek, we blow up Vulcan, and I'm kind of
hmm
like, blowing up a planet, it's a big it's a Star Wars level move, like this is
Yeah.
a big thing,
Mhm,
but okay.
mhm.
And now we find out that Kronos is gone as well, and I'm just like,
What's going on? It's an epidemic, you know?
yeah.
Ah,
And does it makes me feel like maybe Starfleet becomes overpowered because
mhm,
they're the only ones left that are, and even though they're rebuilding post burn, they're sort of they just seem to have more. They'll just have more resources, and they'll just be more established.
mhm.
And so, who? because I was thinking about this in again in with looking at Academy, and I'm like, who's the big bad? Like,
Mhm.
who
Mhm.
can eat? You know, we've got one guy who's like a pirate guy, and some other people, and you know, and you get raids and things like this. But you had entire empires that
Right.
were going against the Federation. Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
just send all your ships in one go, and you can clear out a couple of raiders. I would have thought. So I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, no, that makes sense because yeah, they would that gets rid of a lot of antagonists for the show, you know? Yeah, I mean, what are the other sort of antagonists left? I mean, because the Borg aren't really a thing by the 32nd century, really, are they? I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't know.
not,
There's
because
programmable matter Borgs. I mean, they could be dangerous. Could
they
be.
could be. They could be, but yeah, that's a good point because the Klingons, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really, like, what
I mean,
other ones are
I'm
left?
also curious about the Klingons because, like, they had an empire and they
Hmm.
were always resource poor. So they were always kind of trying to colonize other
Hmm.
planets and having people there and here and there. So even if the planet blows up,
Hmm.
you'd think they'd have other places because they've established themselves all over.
Right.
So what happened there? I'm
Yeah.
just full of questions. This is all I
Yeah.
do is question stuff.
Hmm.
I feel bad.
And
That's yeah, please go ahead.
and where would all the people who weren't on the planet at the time, they would have to go somewhere,
Yeah.
refugees, and like that's a lot of refugees.
Yeah. Maybe more than we saw take over the planet in Academy. I don't know. These are the things. This is why I put out these little videos I do because I watch these things and then I'm working, I'm doing other stuff, and it's just like that itch in the back of your brain
Mm,
where you
mhm,
just start
mhm.
questioning things like this, and
Yeah.
and then I speak about it, and then I upset everybody because I'm just asking questions, and then it's 1,000 years in the future. Get over it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But I like talking about it. I like discussing it. I think that's the fun thing
Yeah. Yeah.
about Star Trek. My argument is always if anyone says like, "Oh, switch your brain off," just you shouldn't be asking all these questions. Just enjoy it. Like they'll tell you if they need to tell you, kind of thing. Is I think that's a shame for you because you're getting like an hour of entertainment
Mhm,
and then it's done, and
mhm,
I get like a whole week because I can
mhm.
talk about it and think about it and speak with other people and ask questions, and
Yeah.
that's more valuable to me. So that's my
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the nature of Star Trek, is asking questions and, discovering things and, thinking about things and all of that stuff. And so, of course, people would have questions, So, yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying.
I have some questions for you, June, just because you're such a big Voyager fan.
Okay.
I just want to quickly talk about the Doctor.
Okay.
Are you currently watching Academy?
I did watch the first 3 episodes, but then, decided that it was not my cup of coffee black, so, I put it aside. Um, but what is your question about the Doctor?
He just feels off to me, like way off.
Mm.
Just and actually, then I won't ask that stuff because, but I will. I'll highlight something I've been thinking about a lot. It's so stupid, and I want to. I have. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like I think about this. I want to say something about it. I want to put out like a little video or something, but it's kind of not enough on its own. So
Mhm,
I might couple it up with some other stuff. But as you're here,
mhm,
and as you're a Voyager fan, I
mhm.
will ask you how you felt about this callback, and then I will go deeper.
Okay. Sure.
So when we first meet the Doctor,
Mhm,
he's sort of doing the medicals for the
mhm,
cadets as they
mhm,
arrive,
mhm,
and he asks for a tricorder.
mhm,
They give him the wrong tricorder,
mhm,
and he has to say medical tricorder. And we
mhm.
all have a chuckle because we all remember when Harry Kim gave him the tricorder instead of the medical tricorder.
Yeah, caretaker.
As a Voyager fan, did you enjoy this callback? Was this worth it? And then can I destroy why I think this is such a bad thing?
Um, did I so the question was, did I think it was worth it, and did I enjoy the callback?
Yeah.
Hmm. I thought it was a bit amusing, but I felt like the writers could have thought a little more and maybe asked a few questions about, maybe how the Doctor would respond given all the amount of 800, 900 years it's passed since, and sort of maybe respond in a way that would be more indicative of his character at that point, and show
Yeah.
a little more of how he is now, rather than relying on the callback so much.
Yeah. For me, it was I just feel like this is an example where we put the joke front and center,
Hmm.
and then we write ourselves to get to that joke.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I'm in my brain, this broken brain of mine, I am like analyzing what I learn in these two scenarios. And I'm like, when it happens in Voyager, there's just been this massive disaster.
Hmm.
Like bodies are strewn across the ship. People are
Hmm.
missing. Things are going on.
Hmm.
And Harry Kim is there. He's an ensign. This is his first, this is his first
Yeah.
day out. This is
Yep.
awful.
Yep.
And he's in this situation, and he's on ops, right? So he's like engineering, science. This is his kind of stuff,
Hmm.
and he's flustered. And the doctor is there, and he asks him for a tricorder. And
Hmm.
if you ask Harry Kim for a tricorder, he's going to give you his tricorder, and
Yes.
he's got a normal tricorder because
Hmm.
that's what he uses for his job. And
Hmm.
of course, the doctor, who has just been turned on and is a bit annoyed about that,
Hmm.
it's medical tricorder, and he's like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, of course. Why would I give you this one?"
Right.
But it just shows you the stress they're under, how
Yes.
out of their depth they are,
Yeah.
how, you know, Harry is not he's not a nurse or a doctor or anything that should be in
Hmm.
this situation. Jump to Starfleet Academy. You are doing medical evaluations of people as they come in.
Hmm.
Who is handing you the wrong tricorder at this point? Like,
It's a great point.
you're all medical personnel that are there.
Yeah.
Why have they got the wrong tricorder?
Yeah,
This
and
is
if they're
just
handing him the wrong tricorder, they should probably maybe not have them work in sick bay anymore because they
yeah.
got it messed up.
And
Yeah,
so
you're right. It doesn't make a sense for the context of the scene and the story. Yeah, no, for sure.
and it's such a silly little thing, but I'm like, I get the joke. It's a callback. It's great. Like it shows that you watched Voyager. But it to me was just like it's already just an example of sometimes we're writing for the joke,
Hmm.
or we're and again, I kind of let these things go a little bit, but then I see interviews where people are talking about how many Easter eggs they were going to include. Oh, it's going to be full of Easter eggs. I'm thinking, oh, you got to be careful because that that leaves you open to, well, why are these people here, or how has this happened, or what? And then nobody ever explains it. And then if we ask about it, we get shouted at. It's like,
Right.
how dare you? But
Right.
you know, seeing as you're a Voyager fan, I thought maybe it's me. Maybe I'm hypercritical because of these things. I'm also still fascinated to understand how holograms work in this universe.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
also curious why, uh, how the Doctor would feel about, and actually, yeah, how the Doctor would feel about their use of holograms in general, because they
Hmm.
use a lot for like security and other things.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, they're not sentient, but could they become sentient? Sort of like how he grew and
Right.
developed.
Hmm.
How does he feel about that? So there's a whole host of questions I have that I fear we'll never get answers to. But there
Hmm.
you go. That's got nothing to do with Vulcan in Canada, but that's where
Still
the
pertinent.
conversation has led us.
Yeah, no, still relevant. Still relevant. No,
Yeah,
I feel like, yeah, the little details are really you know, what certain Trek fans, really look at and look for, and like, how does it all fit together? And so, yeah, no, it definitely, I the details are important in the overall story. They sort of, because they represent like the bigger aspects of the character, in little ways. So yeah.
yeah. Especially, I think if you're a fan of Voyager, when we talk of like details mattering, Voyager was, I suppose, Deep Space Nine as well. That had particularly the latter seasons that had a more ongoing, continuous sort of story embedded, even though it
Hmm.
is even though it was kind of episodic and you could just watch one episode and it was a self-contained story.
Hmm.
It played into a bigger picture. But Voyager in a similar thing, because there's no reset button. because of where they are and that they're trying to make
Mhm.
this trip. Whereas TNG, the ship could almost be, could be blown half to pieces, and technically they could just be like, well, we got it fixed, and now everything's
Right.
fine, and we've replenished everything, we're all fine, everything's okay. Whereas Voyager, if stuff happened and you had crew members, you know, leaving, dying,
Mhm.
turning out that they're Cardassians and running off to another ship,
Mhm.
um, there is. I'm hoping someone will come on and recommend it at some point because I've got questions about. Have you seen the new Voyager game that has come out?
I heard about it, but I haven't played it or anything like that.
No, it's not really my style of game in
Uh-huh.
general, but I'm so tempted to try it.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of. I'm so curious to know because you obviously can make decisions. You can be Janeway. So
Mhm.
my Voyager hot take, if we may call it that,
Uh-huh.
is I would have loved for Seska to have to reveal that she was a Cardassian
Mhm.
and then have stayed on the ship.
That would have been great. That would have been really great because that presents so many, um, yeah, really good, like, conflict potential, and yeah,
I,
that'd be
yeah, and I would have liked that sort of she is constantly butting against
Mhm.
Starfleet and
Yeah.
what Janeway is saying they have to do it this way, and she's thinking, oh, we could just steal this tech, or we could just do this, or we could just do that.
Mhm.
This would be the solution. And
Mhm.
then over that journey home, coming in line and being and understanding, actually this worked. We worked together as a crew. We were a family. This was great. We helped people on the way. They liked us because of that, and all of. And then when they arrived back home, maybe she could have been the first Cardassian to join Starfleet properly, and
Yeah.
actually, and I think that would have been an amazing, like enemies to friends, but over such a long period of time.
Right.
Um, Instead, she decided that maybe the Kazon were the solution, which just fascinates me as to how she thought that was going to work out. But
Mhm.
but there you go. That's so I'm curious to know in the game because apparently you can make all of these decisions. Will I be able to keep her
Okay.
on the ship? That's my
Mhm.
question. That's my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no answer for you with that, but
No.
that would have been a really, yeah, that really interesting to think about, like, the possibilities if she had stayed on the ship. And it's kind of like a little bit like the worst case scenario episode, you know,
Yeah.
where she had that hidden,
Program. Yeah.
holodeck program, which, yeah. So,
Yeah. I'm just again. I'm just always thinking. I'm
yep.
just curious on these things,
Hmm.
especially as I as much as I'd love to go to Vulcan, it feels like it's an expensive trip for me.
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
so what were your favorite? So you've actually been. So
Yeah.
let's break it down then to. I think you've pitched it really well, and I would say anyone listening to this in the States or in North America, hey, even in South America, it's probably not that far for you to get there. And if you're traveling from Europe, why not go? It sounds great. Um, I also like the idea that it's like a fixed thing.
Hmm.
It's not a convention that this week is Star Trek and next week they're hosting a business conference for IT execs, and then the next week they're it's always there, which I
Hmm.
think is nice, and I'm just so intrigued, and I this is my problem is like I want to go to conventions not to see the stars but the fans because it
Hmm.
fascinates me more the people around things.
Yeah.
um like I'm so fascinated to know what the townspeople are like. More than
Hmm.
anything, I want to know if you grow up there. Was it like rite of passage? Okay, you have, or did people move there? Like, did you move
Hmm.
here because you lived close enough and you love Star Trek so much, or or you fell in love with someone and they're from there, and it was
Hmm.
like if you love me, you have to love Star Trek. Like, I mean, there's so many interesting stories I think about people living in this town. Um,
Definitely.
so that's one side of it.
Hmm.
Go if you can, guys. Your personal experience then of traveling there,
Hmm.
um, was it what you were expecting? Was it better than you expected? Was it different in somehow? So what was June's thoughts going in to this trip that you had planned?
Yeah. Well, I was really excited going into it because I had done a little bit of research, obviously, on it, and apparently it's one of the only like Star Trek conventions when they do have Vulcan there in July. One of the few Star Trek conventions in Canada. So that was interesting, but of course I wasn't going there during the convention time. But yeah, I was just excited to see what it was and how it was all laid out and kind of how, yeah, just like what was there. And I had no idea really, other than the little I found on online. The town does have a website, but yeah, and then going there, it was like really neat, because even on Main Street, they even have the street lights are shaped like the Enterprise, the original Enterprise.
They've really gone all in on this, haven't they? I mean,
They have, yeah. And the crosswalks in the main street, the I guess you guys call them in a zebra crossing in the
yeah,
UK, but um, they have they have the white stripes, and then they have in the middle, they have the Star Trek Delta. And the really neat part is, that I really was really excited about and amazed by was, they have like it's almost like a Hollywood Walk of Fame, except it's the Star Trek alum Walk of Fame, where they have handprints of various, like Garrett Wong has his handprints in bronze on the sidewalk, as you're going along, and other a couple other ones too. And yeah, so I was really impressed actually by the amount of Star Trek related things to see and sort of take pictures of and all of that in the downtown. And people were really friendly, and they have the little Star Trek museum, which has like a little gift store and museum area, and then there's like a Star Trek book, little library that they have too, where you can buy Star Trek novels and magazines and things, and it's really neat. Yeah, so I was really impressed with
okay.
all the variety.
Did you pick up any memorabilia, anything to take home to remember your visit, or was it mostly just photos
I took
and
a lot of
memories?
pictures, and I have a lot of memories, but I also bought a Voyager novel, my first Voyager novel, so it's
Oh,
exciting.
which novel was that? Bonus recommendation.
I want to say it was called, uh, was it Chrysalis or was it, oh, Cyber Song was what it was called. Cyber
Oh,
Song.
okay, nice. I'm
Yep.
literally looking at my desk. Look at this. Within arm's reach on my desk, I have a couple of Voyager novels. So
Oh, awesome. Oh, is that the Kristen Beyer
that
series?
is, yes.
Nice. I want to read that. I have not read it yet.
Yeah, so that's this is the problem. People come on, they recommend stuff, and then I buy and I'm still trying to make my way through Destiny. I
Uh-huh.
think I've got Sarek to read, and
Mhm.
then when I bought that, it was in a bundle with another, The Romulan Way. So I've still got
Mhm.
that. I
Mhm.
don't have time to read. I'm editing podcasts. Well,
Mm.
I'm
Mhm.
currently listening to Prey Book Two, which is
Okay.
a TNG. Well, not really TNG. It's Enterprise. It's the Enterprise E. It's
Mhm.
Picard, and Worf is the first officer, and it's that sort of period of time,
Okay.
and
Uh-huh.
he's with Beverly, and then but it also it's a because it's following this Klingon storyline. It
Mhm.
also has TOS era stuff as well, so it's kind of jumping between, and it's very interesting, and I'm enjoying it. But that's an audiobook, so I can do that. I can listen to that while I'm doing other things. I'm almost finished the second book. I think there's a third, and then it's that whole little series is complete. But yeah,
Okay.
some good. There's lots of. It's funny. It's funny because somebody actually we should move into incoming transmissions, and then I can share what I've just remembered. Another transmission than that I wasn't going to share, but I think it's worth doing now.
Sure.
Is there anything else we've missed about? Oh no, I had a final question for you about Vulcan. Was there any point where you were like, no, 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 this is too much now. You've gone too far with this one. So you've mentioned, the crossings, you mentioned the
Mhm.
lights,
Mhm.
the post office, all of that. Was there anything that you saw and you thought, okay, maybe now we might have hit the limit?
Um, I don't think so. Good question. Um, they did have like a very large original Enterprise model outside, like out in front near the. I want to say it was near the like the Welcome to Vulcan sign,
Yeah.
but that was not the too much thing. The one that was sort of maybe a little bit like. Oh wow, was not expecting that. It was I think it was like a secondhand store or like something like that, and it was called Quarks, and it was like
Nice.
all these all of this different like stuff in there, and it's like wow, this is like Quark's back room, maybe, it has all this stuff behind,
Yeah.
behind the bar that we don't see.
Yeah. Any drinks? Were they selling drinks? I mean, that's the
No, they weren't, and I was like, oh,
missed
they could
missed
do that.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine if you'd gone in thinking, "Oh, Quarks, that will obviously that will be a bar. I can go in and get a drink." And then they're like, "No, we're just
Mhm.
selling random knickknacks and little things that." So, okay, it's another gift shop. Fair enough. Wonderful. Well, it's been a good recommendation. I really like it. This it's funny because sometimes I have some people say, "Oh, well, what about this? Would this work as a recommendation?" I'm like, "This is what I need." Like the niche, the better, almost. I feel because this
Mhm.
isn't something I will just stumble upon. When
No.
I'm looking on eBay to pick up a book or something. Like uh, this is very unique. So thank you very much for bringing it to my attention and then being, bold enough to come on the show and share it this way as well. So thank you very much, June.
You're
And
welcome. Thanks for having me.
okay, well, on that note, let's move into incoming transmissions.
Incoming transmission.
So this is the part of the show where if people, I would say, if they email in like you kindly did, because in fact you were read. I think I read your email on on incoming transmissions. Um, So if you want to email the show, you can do so, trekommendations@gmail.com. You actually managed to find that without me. I don't think I ever said it on the show. So
I
well
think it
done.
was on your YouTube chat on the YouTube channel
Yeah.
itself, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is there. I mean, it's not a secret. Like it's not clearly it's not my personal private home email. It's recommendations, but um, I remember getting the email and be like, "Oh, that's nice." 'Cause I don't think I've not that I don't want people to use it, but I don't think I'd
Mhm.
ever thought about mentioning it. So
Mhm.
so you started that. Well done. But yes, you can email the show at Trekommendations. You can comment on the videos here on TikTok, on Instagram. You can DM me on any of those platforms as well, and or leave reviews, whatever, and I will read some of my favorite ones out. I have, I guess, two for today. This one is a little bit in your honor, to be honest, June, because this was a message I got sent over TikTok
Mhm.
from uh, Rich Win is the name. So, hey, love your content. I'm not anyone at all to be on a podcast, but wanted to send you to look at, and I'm going to redact who they said to go and look at
Mhm.
on YouTube. They have no idea who I am, but put a lot of work into their videos and retrospectives on Trek and other sci-fi. I literally fall asleep to them now as so calming yet thoughtful and well researched. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to say it because maybe one day this person's going to come on and they can share it themselves, is the
Mhm.
hope. And in fact, I replied, thanks, I'll have a look. I said, also, the barrier to entry to be on my podcast is very low. If you want to do it, you're welcome to come on. And they've replied, oh gosh, I did not expect a reply. So thank you. Maybe one day I'll have the courage to do something like that. I'm not a creator or anything, just a random uh, teacher that loves sci-fi, but I enjoy consuming lots of sci-fi things and love your podcasts and TikTok and keep it positive and kind, and that's very classy. So, well, thank you for the compliment at the end there. That's very nice. But it's an easy podcast, right, June? It's not hard. Like
No, very, very approachable.
I think anyone can do it. So if you want to come on the show, you're welcome to come on the show. Just message me, email me. Uh, so that was the thing I was going to share. That's the one I planned. But in our conversation, I just remembered a comment that I had today. I had a comment today which I find interesting because it's like you've commented on the video, but you've clearly not checked my profile or even looked into this show at all,
Mhm.
because this was on my video. Let's talk about the Jem'Hadar in Starfleet Academy, and I took a very different approach. I felt to everybody that was just raging against there being a female Jem'Hadar. My
Mhm.
question wasn't how do we have Laura Fock, who is has a Jem'Hadar father and a Klingon mother.
Mhm.
I was curious about the father. Like, how is he still around in the 32nd century? Is my question. What's happened to
Right.
the Jem'Hadar?
Hmm.
So I put out a video again, making suggestions of maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that. I'm not angry about it. Just what
Mhm.
what route have we taken to get where we are?
Mhm.
And I was told there are several Deep Space Nine novels chronological. That doesn't make sense. But anyway, so there are several Deep Space Nine novels, chronological history of all characters after the show ended, including Cisco's return. There is a Jem'Hadar crew member named Taranatar, who joined DS9 under orders from Odo. There's history in books. Reading brings knowledge. Star Trek is not just in TV shows.
Very good point.
It is a good point. Is a good point. I've said true. If you look at my channel and the podcast I do, it's all about recommending books, comics, games, and other media in Trek outside of TV shows. That being said, a lot of the things in the books have been undone in the newest shows, so it seems that TV will always outrank the books in regards to lore. So that's as the books I mentioned that I'm reading, like the one I was listening to, Prey. Picard's married to Beverly. They're a couple. The same in the Destiny novel that I'm reading. So, but in season 3 of Picard, we saw that was not the case. So, books are great. They're incredible. Actually, a lot of them are really, really good. But TV can just delete that with a sentence at times. So that's all it takes. Excellent. Normally, at this time, I ask my guests, where can people find you, and how, what do you want them to check out and follow, and this and that. But June, you are a woman of mystery.
I am. Yes, I don't have any Star Trek related anything for people to follow. So, no, just wanted to chat about Vulcan. So,
I mean, people are thinking you may be a member of Section 31. We haven't completely dismissed the idea. If that is the case, so if you want to track down June, find out where Section 31 is and see if they know who she is. Use this voice. Oh, they can do like the old that episode of TOS where they have to identify the guy by his voice because fingerprints and DNA weren't a thing at the time. So I can't remember what the name of the episode is, the Shakespearean one. Anyway, so maybe they'll do that. That's how they'll track you down. Be careful. All right. Thank you so much, June, for coming on. Thank you, everyone that listened to the show. Don't forget to comment, share it with your friends. And of course, if you've got an incredible recommendation as good as Vulcan, then please let us know. And you could be here sharing it with everyone as well. So thank you once again to June. And I will be back next week with another guest and another recommendation.
Ending program.